Hi, I'm Dr. Robyn Roth, but my friends call me the Booby Docs, my popular social media account where I talk about breast cancer and breast health in an educational and fun way. I'm a board-certified radiologist who specializes in breast imaging and image-guided procedures. I'm also a 40-something Ashkenazi Jewish woman with a strong family history of breast cancer and BRCA, so I know a thing or two about breast cancer. And this is my podcast, The Girlfriend's Guide to Breast Cancer, Breast Health, and Beyond. If you or someone you love has been affected by breast cancer, this podcast is for you. Each episode, I sit down with top breast cancer experts, thrivers, previvors, and those that love them to bring you the breast information. So get ready to learn, laugh, and let's be breasties. This podcast is not intended for medical advice. Please refer to your doctor with any symptoms or concerns you may be having. Thank you, and enjoy the show. Hi, Jill. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Finally, we get together. I know it's been a while.
I have been trying to slide into your DMs for actually before your breast cancer diagnosis. And then obviously after that, I've been following your story very closely. And I'm just so blown away how you've used your platform to educate and advocate while you're going through this breast cancer. Yeah.
Thank you. And we have a mutual dear friend.
We have a mutual dear friend, Lauren Gamzee. Shout out to Lauren.
Shout out to Lauren.
I grew up in South Florida with Lauren, and we went to college together, and then she went on to have her dream job at the Today Show, and I'm so proud of her.
And such a girl's girl and so supportive, and yeah.
All the things.
So thank you for everything you do. I mean, it's so important that we all, you too, that we all support each other and use our platforms to educate and advocate, as you said.
Absolutely. So take me back a little bit to your breast. I, of course, want to talk about your breast cancer journey, but take me back to the beginning. How were you diagnosed?
So last June, I had fibroid issues, and I was going in to get, tests, and they said, did you ever take the BRCA test? And I said, no, my mom's negative. So she took it because she had breast cancer. So I don't need to. And they're like, well, what about your dad's side? And I said, breast cancer doesn't run in my dad's side. So they said, just take it anyway. So in between Zoom calls, I spit in a tube and sent it in. I forgot about it. 3 weeks later, I get a call, and I remember the call. It was at 3:00 in the afternoon. And the doctor said, hey, you're BRCA positive. We're going to need you to talk. You're probably going to want to get preventive surgery, double mastectomy, getting your ovaries and fallopian. It was 3 minutes of what the actual F,
Right.
And so I dealt with that, and it seemed at the time so earth-shattering.
Right.
I hadn't had children. I didn't know if I kind of decided that I wasn't going to have children. I was married at the time, but it was shocking. Right. It was just, and so I went into power mode, and I got in touch with Dr. Port and through friends, and went in to get preventive surgery. And when they did the MRI, they found aggressive breast cancer. And so, it was sort of like I was going in to get the test for the surgery. And then had they not caught it, I wouldn't be alive today. I mean, they said I probably had a year until it was incurable. Not before I passed, but before it was incurable. So it's sort of like a crazy year that I'm right now just waking up from.
Yeah.
And I look like a version of myself, and I'm definitely a better version of myself in a lot of ways. But I mean, I'm just coming out of and dealing with all the trauma, both physically and emotionally, my last surgery was over the summer, and then I started my safety net pills, my best friend pills that I thank every day for,
What are your best friend pills for people that don't know?
My best friend pills are Lynparza and Letrozole. And the reason I call them that is my doctor, and a lot of people going through chemo who I mentor, I talk to people a few months behind me in treatment every day. And she said to me, don't look at chemo as something that's trying to hurt you. You need something called the Red Devil. You need someone in a hazmat suit to walk into fight with you, not against you. So chemo is your friend. Chemo is helping you fight cancer. So every morning out loud at night, I say, because I take it morning and night, I say, thank you for being my safety net. And I think that narrative has helped me a lot because, you're putting poison in your body. And it's helped other people a lot. So I like to share that story because Dr. Port's wisdom was very helpful for me. She was my breast surgeon at Mount Sinai.
I love that. Your conversation brings up so many important points. Number one, genes come from your mom and your dad. And right, your mom had breast cancer. She was BRCA negative, presumably a while ago also. So genetic testing has come so far. And I really think, I think I asked the genetic counselor, I think all Ashkenazi Jewish women should consider genetic testing because we know that the BRCA rate is 10 times higher in Ashkenazi Jewish women like us. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, I talk a lot about this and like, I'm not a doctor, so I never pretend to be even on TV. But I always say like, I said, what's the best advice I can give when I'm asked? And Dr. Susan Domchak, who we had on the day you were at the Today Show with me, said, if you have a lot of cancer in your family and you fit into these high risk buckets, any kind of cancer, prostate, really like, and especially if that cancer in your family is under 65, ask your doctor if genetic testing is appropriate. I mean, it's just a question. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to take it. The problem I have is when people like, I don't want to know. And I say to them, trust me, like you do not want to get cancer. I mean, I know people who have gone through, who know they're BRCA positive and who go through IVF. And then they pick out and this is very controversial, they pick out the BRCA positive eggs. But I mean, I've never asked my mother this question, but had she known, would she have done that? Because no mother is going to, now with the knowledge, going to give a child a 60 to 90% chance of getting breast cancer.
Right.
I mean, that's insane.
Right.
And so, I can't with a good conscience like keep going and not say like ask if genetic testing is appropriate. I mean,
absolutely,
like nobody should go through the pain.
Knowledge is power, and like if you know you have a genetic mutation that will increase your risk of developing breast cancer by 60 to 90%, you could do something about it, right? There are medications we can do to lower your risk. There are surgeries we can do to lower your risk. There's early
scans, right?
And scans, right? Of course, I'm a radiologist.
Right, you don't have to go for the surgery. Like it's up to you, but at least know, at least like, I mean, my brother is positive. He has to go for scans. My father's positive. I mean, they didn't know before me. My cousin's positive.
Right. Wow. So many. I mean, BRCA mutations increase your risk for breast and ovarian cancer, but they also increase the risk of melanoma, pancreatic cancer, and prostate cancer. So it is important for men to know, and males get breast cancer. So it's important for
one of my best guy friends had breast cancer. That's who got me to Dr. Port. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, in terms of who should be considering genetic testing, like you said, like a first degree relative that had breast cancer, especially if it was premenopausal breast cancer, also multiple cancers in relatives, like your dad had prostate cancer, your mom had breast cancer, unrelated.
My dad did not have prostate cancer.
Oh, he did not. Okay. I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. Good.
No, my dad had, I don't even have to knock on wood anymore. Yeah. Nothing. My dad has never been to a hospital except he had shoulder surgery. My dad is like Superman.
Wow. So is he now getting screened more frequently for all these things? So knowledge is power. Also, family histories of some of these more rare cancers that we see. You always want to, and a personal history of breast cancer before, premenopausal breast cancer especially. You actually got diagnosed with BRCA positive. How old were you when you were diagnosed when you found out you were BRCA positive?
I'm 48 now, and it was last June, so 47. But I look at pictures, and I'm like, I was BRCA positive there, like baby pictures.
Right. Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah. But my oncologist told me, Dr. Eric Weiner at Yale, my oncologist told me that life is before and after cancer. And I'm not saying that's for everybody, but for me, my whole life is different now.
100%. How has it changed? Like for the better and for the worse, I'd say. Like,
I'm just sad that it happened. It's hard for me to look at. Like I was in so much physical pain, and I'm so strong. I'm like the strongest person I know, but I was so grateful that it was me and not anyone else in my family because I couldn't have watched it. I went to dinner last night with an old friend. Big hug,
by the way.
I know. I'm okay. Yeah. I went to dinner last night with an old friend, and he lost his mother to cancer, and and I said that's watching. So if I had to watch this, like even when I was in chemo, I was like, thank goodness this is me and not my parents or my brother or So I guess. I don't know if that's a silver lining.
No,
But in terms of the better ways, like I think anything dramatic, any trauma, I think this about money too, actually, which is interesting. I think it makes you more of whatever you are. So I think it makes you like, Like, I think that I'm generous. I think I like giving gifts better than I like getting. I've always been like that. But now my empathy level is at like an all time. So I
Right.
feel like, it's a really confusing thing to think. But I think that God blessed me with this because God knew I had the power and the wherewithal to help other people. I truly believe
Yeah.
that.
I 100% am with you. I think that, you're dealt this hand, but you have overcome so much, and you can just look at yourself with so much more strength and so much resilience. Like, and it gives you a whole new perspective on life. Like the things that didn't
Everything.
matter, everything. Like,
Everything. And like even my business, I'm better in business. Like,
mhm.
I couldn't go to QVC every week. I couldn't
Yeah.
go, on the Today Show every day. I couldn't. I did it.
Yeah.
I mean, the days I had chemo is when I went, hi.
He can't even,
I
he's in
know
his
this
own
is
world. Yeah.
as is life. So as is live TV. So that's what I love about live TV because
Oh,
like
I
things
love
like
it. You're
that, like
so good
everybody
at
could
it. I
relate.
love it.
So I feel like in business, it caused me to go narrow and deep with like my hero items. Like I wear this every day, every morning, every afternoon, every night. I crop it, I bedazzle it to go
I
to
love
black tie. Like, so I went out and got all the licenses because I could fill out the forms from
it.
bed.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I feel like my life is much calmer. I love being home. This past weekend, Friday night and Saturday night, people were like, what are you doing? And I said, nothing. I'm watching shows and
Yeah.
I watched The Holiday again. I don't like, to me now, feeling healthy and working out, I like being bored now. Whereas in the
Uh-huh.
past, I needed to fill the space.
Yeah.
I let the space breathe and I appreciate it.
I
So
love
I
that.
always had like my stuff together. Like family always came first and I always like operated with kindness, but it's
Another
at
level.
a different frequency
Yeah,
now.
absolutely. I just came back from a Tony Robbins conference, and
Oh, how was that?
it was incredible. I feel like you would go, you should go. And he just really focuses on that. Like, your problems make you you. Like, you've overcome so much. Like, thank you for the gift of, of course, breast cancer was a horrible thing to have to go through, but look how much better you are now. And, sometimes it takes that to reshift our focus and reprioritize ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard
It's,
because like if you
yeah.
say that to my mom,
I feel like it's,
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, my
it's,
heart hurts for, I spend a good part of my day on with people who
mm-hmm.
have just been diagnosed or are in chemo and giving like tips and tricks or,
Mm-hmm.
what to feel. And I also feel like, people were there for me to say it's okay. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, cancer is like when my mom worries now, I'm like, Mom, what are you worried about? You got the
Right.
call.
Right.
You got it. You
Right.
got the
What
call
else?
that your daughter has cancer. Like, we're done. Like, it's,
100%.
I mean, what else? And we were lucky. I mean, how
Mm-hmm.
lucky that the treatment worked.
Right.
I mean, I'm
Exactly. And
cancer free now.
Mazel tov. That's incredible. Tell me
Yeah. I mean,
what did your breast cancer treatment look like, and what does it look like now? Because it's never really over, fortunately.
oh yeah. I mean, people are like, you're done, right? I'm like,
No.
yeah, I'm done. But it's okay. I don't need to put that. Like if my dad won't listen to this because he doesn't listen to any of this. In
Mm-hmm.
my dad's mind, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
did it. We got through it. You're great.
Mm-hmm.
It's done. And I give him that because,
Yeah.
it's too heartbreaking the other way. So
Right.
he's just not the person I talked to this about. But,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I went, it was like,
Did
it
chemo.
was a constant fighting for your life. Like I
Yeah.
went through the double mastectomy and then I woke up from surgery and she said it was in a lymph node. So I had to
Mm.
take 17 lymph nodes. So then I was like, I just don't want chemo. Please,
Mm-hmm.
no chemo, no chemo. Then we waited 3 weeks to get the OncoTest score, which says
Mm-hmm.
how likely it is to reoccur. It was
Right.
40% that it was going to reoccur. So then they
So
were like,
high.
we're throwing the kitchen sink at you.
Right.
So I did 4 Red Devils. I did a dense dose of Taxol
Mm-hmm.
and I cold capped. Then I
Oh
waited
wow.
3 weeks. Then I did radiation for 16 straight
Mm-hmm.
days.
Wow.
Then I waited 3 weeks and I did my ovaries and fallopian tube. So then I waited, whatever, 6 months and did reconstruction. And then I started the pill. So it was like a constant,
Wow.
yeah, like a constant, like when one thing like ended, then it was always another.
Yeah.
I didn't know I needed radiation. Then I needed radiation. So
Yeah.
it was like a constant battle. And now it's just like, I come out and my hair's short. It's pretty,
Mm-hmm.
but it's
I
just
love it.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Right.
like it. But it's just like I
No.
do like it. But it's just
Yeah.
like I say to my friends, like they're like, it's so pretty, keep it. And I'm like, oh, thank you. I'll take it.
Right.
But like imagine like waking up from a blur. Your body's different, you look
Right.
different, you feel different, you act differently. What you're willing to accept and what you're
Hmm.
willing to tolerate and also like I'm so much more confident than I've ever been. I mean, I feel like I'm good. If I
Hmm.
make a mistake, I say I'm sorry, but for the most part, like I do the right thing all the time. And if I make a mistake, I say I'm sorry. And other than
Yeah.
that, like I have I'm living my life very purely. I mean,
I
I'm
love
with my
that.
family all the time. I'm slowly like starting to date again, which is
Hmm.
strange. And, it's just like a new person. Like my playlist, I did Jill 2.0.
I was just going to call you Jill 2.0. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
So,
new and improved. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't even know, like, it's hard. It's like I would probably agree with you and say improved, but I
Yeah.
think
That's how I
it's
feel.
just different.
Yeah.
Like, I love the girl who I was before, but I look at her as a different person.
Well, I mean, it's kind of beautiful in a way that, you're leading into your second half of your life, 50 that's a big birthday.
I'm
And
48, right?
you're
I
so
have,
coming up.
don't
Okay, we
rush
got two
me.
more years, two more years. But like it, I feel like it's, your coming out party. It's like
Yeah, I'm
you
going
need to
for it.
celebrate Jill 2.0. This is her.
Believe me, I am looking
I
for a good time. Like, I am looking for fun and, I'm so blessed in my work.
Yeah.
I love my work so much. Like I still like laugh that I get paid for it.
I love your work so much.
I know we had such a fun day on
Oh my God. It was
my
a
today
dream.
family. Yeah, it was really magical. October
Yeah.
1st. October 1st was, if you ask me what my
Oh, I love
moment of impact day was, it was that day.
I love that so much, and I'm so grateful that I got to be there on the Today
Me
Show
too.
Plaza and watching you speak to this group of breast cancer thrivers, doctors. It was just so inspiring because like you could feel your empathy. Like the moment you just look at them, you tear up, and you guys share such a connection, and it's beautiful. You've all been through something
Yeah.
really
I
hard,
feel
and
it too. Like
yeah.
when I meet someone and they say like, yesterday I was at a diner and someone
Hmm.
walked up to me and said, "Are you Jill?" And I said, "Yes." And I'm like in my pajamas. So they're like,
Hmm.
"Could that be her?" But I'm in the Sherpa, so everybody knows.
Right.
And, when I hear about that someone's been through it
Yeah.
or someone's cold capping and how hard it is,
Yeah.
with which for people who don't know, you sit for 12 hours with negative, whatever, 32 degrees every 20 minutes being replaced on your head so
Wow.
that they freeze. I lost my hair, but it freezes the follicle. So it grew back. And so people are like, "I like your haircut." I mean, it's a chemo cut, but it's
Right.
cute. And I actually trimmed it the other day.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, my heart, like when I hear,
Hmm.
and people say to me, like, well, it's not cancer, so I don't want to tell you. I'm like, trauma's trauma.
A hundred
I have
percent.
empathy for trauma. I have
Mm-hmm.
empathy for like feeling like every day when I get open my eyes and it's, I get up super early and I try to watch the sun rise and set when I can. I get up when the sun rises and I go to bed at like 6:30. But I
Uh-huh.
always said that I can't blame the cancer on that.
Uh,
6:30 is early. I mean, I go
wow.
to sleep
Yes.
early, but I do. But some days I get in at 6:30. Yeah, and I like that. Like I'll
Uh-huh.
eat cereal in bed, and like I used to like want to fill it with parties, and I still do that. But it's like I'm good.
Yeah.
If this were my life now,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm good.
That's
I'm happy.
what a beautiful place to be at. It is. So you are a Today Show contributor. You do the steals and deals. Like I grew up watching you, which is like you're iconic.
That's nice.
It's so yeah. So how did you number one land this dream job of how did you get to this point?
So I started as a sportscaster in Miami, and then
Mm-hmm.
my boss, my first boss, Amy Rosenblum, who I worked with at the Maury Povich show. I was her
Mm-hmm.
assistant. She, at the time, went over to the Today Show and she said, I was doing fashion segments and she
Mm-hmm.
said, "Do you want to come do them here?" And I was in sports, but I was more in like the entertainment part of the
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle. At the time, it was the beginning of women being in locker rooms, just how an athlete, just sort of the evolution into going from one day you're sort of not anonymous, but then going into stardom and just sort of the trials and tribulations that come with that and
Stories,
family
yeah.
and, listen, every blessing has, it's like money. Money does not solve everything. In
Nope.
some cases it hurts. It amplifies whatever you are. So yeah, she said, do you want to come? And then a producer at the time, his name was Mark, he said, what if we did this segment where we made everything and we talked it through? And at the beginning, it was out of my living room with my girlfriend Dana, literally like calling companies saying, will you give us? And now, I mean,
Wow.
we have over 100 people. It's crazy because
That's incredible.
yeah, it's everyone loves a deal. No matter,
Love a deal.
I will not like drop, celebrity names, but I get like text saying, I missed out on the whatever, the vacuum. Can you get me? And that's what it is. Everybody loves a deal.
Love it. That's so fun. So, and it just became, you just eventually landed on the Today Show. You got to the right people
Yeah, that started on the Today Show and then it just grew. And now I've been there for, I think, 18 years.
I know.
I mean, I don't see any scenario where I won't be there. I mean,
it's incredible.
It's my family. And, the biggest thing is that through this year, I mean, talk about elegance and grace. And it starts, Libby, who is our, oversees all of the Today Show, and Tom Mazzarelli, it starts from the top and it always does. But grace and kindness and elegance and forgiveness and support and platform, and I can't say enough things. So like and Lauren, I mean, our friend Lauren, I mean, from even anyone who could do something for me, and I never asked for help, but I did this year because I just couldn't do it. For the most part, I would say 98% didn't disappoint.
I love that. It's so nice to hear that like a show that you like admire so much is actually like a good show.
What it is.
And yeah, exactly.
It is exactly what you think it is.
It's so funny because I know I have made it if I am ever on the Today Show, like in the seat. That's my definition. Because
what do you want to be?
I love talking about women's health stories. So I do it on Fox News here in Philly. But one day, but also I wrote a children's book. And so
what is it about?
It's called, and it's teaching about breast health. It's about a boob that to teach to the kids about breast, and like we don't need to be scared of boobies, we all have them. And so it's getting illustrated right now, and then I'm going to be looking for a publisher.
I would love to see it.
Oh my god, you will love it. I will send you a copy.
I would love to see it. Yeah.
What I'm manifesting is me. Well, I can't read it to Hoda and Jenna anymore because right, but I imagine myself reading it to them. That's what I'm manifesting.
Okay, so we'll get it in the right hands.
Yeah, we'll get it in the right hands.
We'll get it in the right hands. That's like the first step, and I believe in manifestation.
Me too. It's so funny. So first of all, I'm from South Florida. I grew up in Coral Springs. I know you said Miami, so I love that. I saw your 305.
I'm not from there, but that was my first job. I grew up here. I live in Southampton now, but I'm in Long Island. And that's where you met Lauren, right?
And that's where I met Lauren. And when I went to college, I went to University of Florida, and I was going to go pursue a career in journalism because I loved writing for my entertainment paper. I was the editor of my newspaper, entertainment editor of my newspaper. And at the last minute, I switched to at orientation, they're like, who here's pre-med? And I raised my hand, and my dad's like, what? You never wanted to be a doctor? And I was like, well, I had growth hormone deficiency growing up, and endocrinologist really played an important role. Like, I think I could be a doctor. And he goes, I like that. He goes, I see you one day as a medical contributor on the Today Show. That was when I was 18.
That's so funny.
So that's where this all comes from. And it's so funny because this whole thing is like full circle for me. Just the whole platform, the way I'm using it to educate and empower people.
Amazing.
I love it.
I mean, amazing. And you're so kind and nice about it too, which is, all really people need.
100%. Right. I feel like I have a gift in that I could talk about a complicated topic like breast cancer and break it down and make it not so scary in a way that I think there's a lot of fear over, getting genetic testing, getting mammograms, MRIs. Like, I don't want to know. Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. I mean, the mammogram is the best test we have.
Yeah.
It missed it.
I was going to say, it's not the best test we have. Actually, I feel like the MRI is the best test we have.
Well, I'm saying in terms of like your beginning test, it's so so my scenario, I mean, that's why I don't want to discourage people from getting mammograms. But my mammogram was clean the day I got diagnosed, and
Right.
my sonogram missed it. And
So
what
you had an
Dr. Port says
ultrasound.
is, I did
Uh,
3 months before. So
oh,
that's hard for me to.
to
That
swallow.
I remember when I found out, and then it wasn't till later when I said, and Dr. Port said, a sonogram is a snapshot. It takes
Hmm.
like 10 pictures. Picture 10 pictures from a movie. You don't get to see the
Hmm.
whole movie, and no test is perfect. A
Right.
mammogram is what, 87% and a sonogram's 93%. I never fall into the 7%. I did. I just did. I mean, that's like what happened,
And I mean, I want to talk about this because you probably have dense breast, I would imagine,
Yes.
right? Yes. So you had dense breast. Mammograms are not perfect, especially in dense breast. They can miss about 50 to 75. No, I think it's like about 50% of cancers, which sounds really scary. And it is. And it really depends on the radiologist. And also if it's your first, if you have priors, that all helps. So if you have dense breast tissue, which 50% of women do, I recommend getting supplemental imaging, which usually looks like ultrasound or an MRI if you're high risk. So, if we knew you were BRCA positive, a few years ago, we probably would have been getting breast MRIs. But
That's right.
right.
And we would
So
have got it, and it would have
yeah,
been what my mother had, which would have been
exactly.
DCA. Well, no, if we knew I was BRCA positive, my choice was I was getting preventive surgery.
Of course, right.
But that's not the plan that was laid out for me.
Yeah, but it's okay. But I want anyone listening to know that, so it is important to know if I think there's a new recommendation that I love from the American College of Radiology that says all women, especially Ashkenazi Jewish and Black women, should have a breast cancer risk assessment before the age of 30, ideally at age 25. So we can identify people that are high risk and would benefit from earlier or supplemental screening. Because if we know you're BRCA positive, we actually start with a breast MRI at age 25, and
Right.
then mammogram at 30, and then kind of alternating.
Right. I mean, I speak to 25-year-olds all the time, and
Yeah.
my heart breaks because it's like they're looking to start families, and and part of it is taking your ovaries out, and so there's I have a girl who did the IVF. She had a lot of kids.
Yeah.
And then she's done, and then now she'll do it, and she froze the eggs, and
Yeah.
so there are things you could do.
Absolutely. And you can, like you said, so if you knew you're BRCA positive, you're 25, you might preserve some eggs. Certainly you want to preserve some eggs. And you could also do screening, but ovarian cancer screening is not that great, which is, breast cancer screenings, thankfully readily available. And especially if you have a genetic mutation, then we can start. And, if you do the mammogram MRI every 6 months, you're in good shape. We're never going more than 6 months. But you were lucky though, because in the end, it ended up being an aggressive breast cancer that was diagnosed, right?
I know. I mean,
How big?
listen,
Yeah.
it was big. I don't remember how big the tumor was, but it was
Yeah.
it was big.
I'm
It was big.
surprised the
I mean,
ultrasound didn't see anything.
I know.
Yeah. Hindsight's
I
20.
know. It's no, I mean,
Yeah.
I did everything right in that sense. It's
Yeah.
that's why I just, for me, I believe God has a different plan for me. And,
100%.
out of it, during this time,
Yeah.
my brother and my sister-in-law had a baby.
Oh, wow.
And so,
Hera.
right.
I love Hera
So,
too.
yeah, so my sister-in-law's a riot, but we had this exceptionally funny, smart, nice little boy. He's only a year and a couple months, but yeah, I mean, and I know firsthand so many lives that just from us talking about it. My college roommate got tested, and you saw the story that day. Her father was positive, and she texts me every day saying, "Thank you for saving my life and my daughter's life." I mean, she got she got the preventive surgery, and it's that's not a small thing.
No, it's
just
huge.
being BRCA positive is there are groups of support groups, you're getting all of your female parts taken out.
100%.
And it put you into menopause. I didn't even talk about menopause because there were so many other things. Hot flashes were so low on the list. We never even talked about it, honestly. And I'm estrogen positive, so I can't do, patches, but I just lived through that as as if, it never even happened because the other stuff was so bad.
Right.
But that's on its own. I'm not downplaying that. like, I have a recording of me saying, like, my life's about to change forever after I just found out I was positive. And now in retrospect, I
You had
mean,
no idea.
like I have a girl that I speak to, and she did chemo, and now she's getting her mastectomy tomorrow.
Wow.
And I said, listen to me. I said, you went through the worst. This is not going to be great, obviously, but you'll be fine. It's, you know, sometimes there's complications and whatever, but as long I'm praying that everything goes right for her.
Yeah.
You know, chemo is the thing that I think about every day.
Yeah.
Still.
I love the idea of changing your perspective about the chemo. Like, instead of looking at like a poison, it's your friend. It's helping you lower your recurrence and all these things.
Every day I say thank you out loud to my pills.
Oh, I love that.
Every day. I'm like, thank you for saving my life.
You know, I want to tell you actually my cousins. So I have my cousins who are a little bit older than you. I adored them growing up. I looked up to them my whole life. And when I was in med school, or I think in college, one of them found a lump. She was like 32 at the time. And she goes to the radiologist and he said, it's probably benign. And she said, I know it's not right. Like, I want to biopsy this. And lo and behold, it's an aggressive form of breast cancer. And so this is like 15 years ago now. And they didn't really talk about genetic testing. And she's about to go through the lumpectomy, or I think she even got the lumpectomy. And then her friend who lived in New York knew this woman who she's like, you should get genetic testing. You should get tested for BRCA. So she requested to be tested for BRCA. Lo and behold, she's BRCA1 positive. And then that changed everything. It changed. She had ended up getting a double mastectomy where they weren't going to give her chemo. Now they were giving her chemo. And her sister, who was about 2 years older at the time, she's 34, goes and gets her first mammogram, and she has breast cancer too. And she ends up being BRCA positive also. And thankfully, they are both 15 plus years out and they're thriving. It's what inspired me to go pursue a career in breast radiology and help women like them. So you just remind me a lot of my cousins, and I love that.
Oh, well, thank you for all. I mean, it's people like you that, like, Dr. Port always says, when I see her, I start crying. And she's like, stop crying but I like credit her, I mean, what you do is, I mean, I have no words. It's like, you save lives.
I do. And I remember that, and I think about all of you guys every day, and like, it's what keeps me going. And I probably, chances are in my lifetime, I will be battling breast cancer myself. Like I feel like the numbers, I just see it, it's growing so much. I feel like, as long as you're proactive, you screen, knowledge is power.
Right.
Like,
I mean, you catch it and then.
Right. You treat it.
Yeah. You catch it and you treat it. If you catch it early.
Yeah.
Right. If you catch it early, like I unfortunately, didn't, but if you catch it early, it's and listen, there's, I mean, more than anyone, there's shots now that, like, there's things coming out that
vaccines,
are hopefully.
We love the vaccines. Yeah.
I'm game for the vaccines. Like,
I spoke to Kristen Dahlgren
on the dollar I had.
I know. Right. Kristen Dahlgren was on my podcast and we talked about that a lot. Wait, before I let you go, the holidays are coming up and you are the queen of shopping. So, like, what are your top 3 things that you're getting people this year?
Oh my God. Well, of course, all my
a Sherpa, obviously.
No. A Sherpa hoodie or
show me some other.
Here, I'll show you around.
Yeah, give us a tour.
I live this is how I live.
I love it.
I don't know how to change the camera. I just took a picture of you.
It's okay.
I'll show you this way. So this is my my
bears.
animal buddies.
Yeah, I love them.
My 2 foot by 2 foot. They were just named Oprah's favorite things.
Wow.
And then I have all the Sherpas. This is all I wear every day.
I
have Yellowstone, which was I fell asleep last night. I have to watch it. And then the 10 foot by 10 foot family blanket.
Oh, I love that. I need that.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then, like, the guys just sit around the house.
That's you are. I love it. You're a showroom.
Literally, I live. Well, it's the reason I know it's the right thing is because I authentically live in my stuff. Like, everything I'm wearing right now, I'm still in my pajamas, but everything I wear right now is I made. You know, and so for me, it has to be authentic or it doesn't work. And so
I love it.
This is like my favorite item. I mean,
I live in my Sherpa. I left it outside, but my daughter's requesting kid sizes because she always steals.
We're doing kids. Look,
you are.
Look at my list for.
Perfect. Purse. I want to hear more about that.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking of doing like a cool. Yeah, I'm on it for next year. So
Wait, I'm going to show you. This is this little bit of self-promotion, but I started a line, like a boob positive line, but it has all the scars.
I know. I love local celebrity. Oh my, you're so funny.
Katie Couric signed my hat, actually. I got it.
That is so funny.
I
love it.
You signed my hat too. You signed my other, that's my prized possession.
When you wore it on the Today Show, yeah.
I know.
You're so funny. No, I mean, listen, for a doctor to be able to bring levity and knowledge and laughter to the most horrible situation is a gift.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You are a gift.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm trying to think if there are any. We talked about so much. Anything else you want to tell my listeners before I let you go do your thing?
No, just that I keep everyone going through this in my prayers, and I hope that conversations like this help. And thank you for letting me share my story with you, so that potentially it could help one person.
Oh my God, thank you so much. And you mentioned you want to have more fun this year. I have to tell you this. You should come to my booby bash next year. You could be the guest of honor. It's a masquerade. It's October 18th.
You'll let me know. Right. I'll save the date. Yeah, I'm looking for a good time.
I told Hera she needs to come next year too.
My sister-in-law her birthday's tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Hera.
I know. I celebrate her every day, but
what are you getting her? Like, what do you give?
I get her presents like all the time.
I'm sure. She's so lucky.
Yeah. So I give her So I have some stuff for her, but like little stuff, but I give her presents all the time.
I love it. Wait, can I take one selfie before we go?
Of course.
This happens. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Wait, did you see my phone case? I'm a hoot.
I know you're all in. I love it.
I'm all branding. I'm a walking marketing.
I love it.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed this conversation or learned something new, please go to Apple Podcasts and leave me a 5-star review and help spread the word. If you tell me you did, I'll give you a big virtual smoocheroo. And of course, make sure you follow me across all social media platforms at The Booby Docs for more of the breast information. And a huge thank you to my podcast producer, Christian Cuveta, an amazing medical student who also wrote and produced the music for the show. Take it away, Christian.